couples, let's talk about love.
We're not experts. We're just taking you on our journey of love.
So, hey, babe, how are you?
I am doing great. How about yourself?
I'm good. It's dreary weekend, dreary weekend.
But rain brings life. It brings green. April showers bring May flowers. So we should have a whole bunch of flowers because we got some showers this in the beginning of this May. So that's fine. I'm okay with it. I don't like it, and then I like it at the same time. I kind of like. I know it's nice. It's kind of cool. Like if I don't have anywhere to go, kind of like walk out in the rain and just get wet, and it's cool. I mean, I know you're a black woman with hair, so that don't count. I ain't got no hair on my head, so
I just want
I
to
can get away
wrap
with
up
that.
in the bed and just do nothing on a rainy day. That's
Now,
the best.
now what I do hate is the comeback. So like once you got to come inside, and now whatever you were doing, like if I was riding my bike or I was out for a walk or whatever, like that's fine while I'm doing it. But then when I come back, I got all these wet, nasty clothes, and you got to like peel them off. It's kind of like mushy salad, like
Yeah, that's why I don't. Rain and me don't get along.
that's
Not just because of my hair, but anywho, well, we're back with part two to the 6 types of intimacy, right?
yes. So the first three we talked about: physical, emotional, and experiential.
And then y'all got to see us live. Wow,
Live and
how was
direct.
that?
Yes.
Were you surprised at how ugly we were? I'm just kidding.
They were like, damn, they have a lot of fun together.
Yes, that's why they on the radio and not in video. It's like, no, but we had a great time. I hope you all got a lot out of it. We did. We had a good time.
And we're gonna do more of those. We're gonna bring in some video and probably do some like recording of us as we're doing. I see a lot of people doing a recording of the podcast when they're doing it. And I was like, you know what? Let's get into that too. We not today though, because we're not in that space to
Yeah,
do
we
that
look
right
like
now.
crap.
Yeah.
No.
But when it's a sunny, next time it's a sunny day, because then the light will shine in and it'll look great and it'll shine on us the right way.
And we want you to don't forget to check out the Pink Palace Boutique where we were live at. She got some great items at Security Mall.
Yep.
Shout out to Miss Nikki, baby.
She hooked us up. She hooked us up with the space, and we were in there. We even had some customers coming in while we were doing it. It was cool. So
yeah, so don't forget to check her out. All right, so let's get to these other 3. So our first one for tonight is
intellectual.
Intellectual. Let me tell you, when I first met him, I was like, oh, okay, he good looking and he's smart. Okay. That was a good turn on for me.
I was really a triple threat because I also got a job.
Yeah, he did.
So
job,
I had
smart,
a job, smart,
and he was good
and
looking.
good looking. I had my own place, but that connected to the job. My own car that's connected to the job. That's all there. So I was a triple threat.
Yeah, and I think that ties perfectly into intimacy because now I know I have a secure man that's going to take care of himself, take care of home. He's
the grown up.
Yep, he's groaning. What they call he's lifing. Lifing, is that what it is? He's grown upping.
But I don't know. I think for the same thing for me at the same time is that the what Neil talked about, an independent woman. Like, and every time I hear that song, I thought of my wife. Then my girlfriend, but now my wife. Because I always felt that she was an independent woman. She had her own car, her own place, her own job. She was educated. She had her own business. And she was doing her own thing. So without me, she was gonna make it happen. And that's what I appreciate. There were times where, she would call me and be like, "What you doing?" I mean, well, what you doing? So like that that's sexy, and that made the intimacy even more intense.
I think so. I think it was the most powerful piece because when I went back out there in the dating pool, I thought for sure there was pee in the dating pool, but I don't know. I could have.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of stuff. They ain't put no chlorine in it.
Nothing.
They weren't skimming it. They were, man. Let me tell you, it's rough. It wasn't easy on the male side either.
I can imagine.
And I would always say, like, I think I was talking about this before. I said, the worst part for me is as the male. Part of it is we're expected to pay for stuff. And here's my issue. I'm mad if I'm paying for a dinner and this time out, and I don't like this person sitting across from me. Like, I feel like I done wasted my money.
Wait. Shouldn't you have known that before you took that person?
No, because when you first, it could have been just like a look. you may have been attracted. I'm like, okay, I like this. And you say, hey, they say, hey, like, well, let me get your number. Sure, and you may talk, and maybe you talk quick enough, and you're like, hey, we want to go out. Sure, okay, we're gonna meet here. Great. So I'm figuring we're gonna get our time to get together. There's already the physical attraction. So you're like, okay, but then tying into this, there's no emotional connection, and that to me is the key. That intellectual piece is really the key. Like if I can't connect with you intellectually, I'm done. Like,
I
and I've
agree.
literally been on. I was on a date, and I don't know if I ever told you this. I was on a date, and I was just not feeling this person. I mean, it was like because they were saying stuff, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like we are not in the same place at all. Like we are not there. And like you called, and I saw you called. I couldn't answer right then and there. So I was like, okay. And then I was like, excuse me, went to the bathroom, and you were like, hey, what you doing? And I was like, well, what you doing? And you were like, well, I was thinking I was gonna, you know, pop some popcorn and, order some takeout maybe and watch a movie and stuff and figure out from there. That was my world. I love that. So I was like, you know what? Give me about 20 minutes and I'll meet you. And I was like, okay, check please. Let's go. Time to go. I gotta go. I got an emergency. Um, I gotta take care of, my sister, the kids. Something I made up something, and I was at your house because I was done, completely.
I think so. Listen, intellectual means a lot to me because I don't want to sit there and talk to somebody that's not going to stimulate my mind, which
Yeah,
is a part of that intimacy piece for me.
I agree.
Like, I don't want to talk to somebody that's just dumb as a brick. No, that's the biggest turnoff for me. And I remember we were talking about something, and I was like, "Oh, I'm getting all giddy inside." Okay,
Feeling them
yes,
tingles.
yes, I was all tingly. He was talking smart, using these big words. I said, "He a smart black man," and I think that took our intimacy level up a couple of notches
Yeah, I can see it.
because I can see us having these really great in-depth conversations. I don't think it's ever been a time that we haven't had good conversations
Yeah,
about anything.
we
Like,
even talk about movies. I mean, that was one of
yeah.
the like we both love movies,
Hmm.
and I think we love movies because we like movies that stimulate us, in some way, shape, or form.
At that moment for me,
Yes, so at the moment for her because she don't remember it after that.
no.
I'm the one in this relationship that can recite lines verbatim.
Yes, that's six. I don't
I,
know where
I,
y'all doing
I
that.
pictures in my head. I'm like, you know what? Don't he look like that guy from that movie? And you're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, and I'll pull it up on the web real quick. So by that time I did that was,
I have
you
no
were like,
idea. I
how
look at
does
the
he do
movie
that?
for that moment at that time, and then it's out of my head.
But while we're watching it, like we'll also turn off a movie because we're like, you know what? We're just not feeling this.
Yeah,
And you think about it, that's that same because intellectually it didn't appeal to us.
stimulate
It didn't
us. Yes.
stimulate. It didn't connect to us. And you think about it, that's what happens with people. I mean,
Hmm.
imagine if you're not intellectually stimulated by the person that you're with, your partner, then how do you move on from there? I mean, like, yes, at some point, yes, the physical is good, and maybe the physical, you know what, just be quiet. Like, I've
Well,
heard
how do
that,
you do that? You just
but
like
that
don't
can't
say nothing.
you can't sustain that.
You can't.
You can't take them out anywhere. You can't
No.
go anywhere. You're embarrassed. Or you just like that's that person. That, I mean, you're like the eye candy, but they don't speak. They're mute. Just
Just look pretty.
they
Just
had
sit
a
there.
they had a root canal today, so they can't really talk.
You know the hard part. So I get it. So I look, get out there in the dating world. I had this guy kept calling me champ. What's up, champ?
I remember you
Champ.
told me that.
What's up, champ?
Champ, that was
And
one of
I'm
the dates you
like,
told me
is that
about.
all you need? And he lied about his looks and his picture. You are some deceiving people out there. I thought this was a big 6 foot something man. He was like 5'4" and
He shorter
old
than
and
you,
yes, he was shorter than I was. And he kept calling me
and
champ.
he beat you at
He
pool
was
too, didn't he?
beating
He was
me
beating you
at
at pool.
pool, which I did not want to play. Took me to a scary movie, and I specifically explained I am not into scary movies,
She did not.
especially
She
at
did not.
night.
No, not at
And he
all.
did all the wrong things. And that at that point, that was it for me. There wouldn't have been no, I don't care if like he was nibbling on my toes and I got excited. That intimacy was no longer there because he did not tap into that intellectual part of me that I wanted.
Yeah,
You
that I
know,
mean, like I told you, I was, just I've been on dates and even from a young, even when I was younger, I'm thinking about like even when I was a kid and I would date people. Like if you
you
didn't
were dating
intellectually,
at a kid. Lucky
oh yeah,
you.
if
Anywho,
you didn't intellectually stimulate me, I didn't want to be bothered. Like really didn't want to have anything to do with you because I was just like I like you got to say
and I
something.
don't think it's about being extra smart. I
No,
just think just to be able to hold a conversation,
yeah,
to be able to hold your own in that
yeah,
conversation. I think,
or have your own opinion.
yeah, exactly. So, so I want you all to think about this when you're talking about that intellectual intimacy. Where do you and your partner fit in
Hmm.
at that level? You know, how does your conversations happen, and where do they lead you?
Yeah,
That's a good one.
that's good. Next is spiritual.
Ooh,
So
spiritual.
spiritual, sharing a greater purpose together. So when I think about this and I think about us, so one thing that I think about is we both came into this relationship as helpers of
Mhm.
others, and that is a part of our marriage as well. We are always willing to help, and not just each other. Like we have
Definitely.
helped others, organizations, people. We're just that's who we are. We don't shy away from that from each other, and we
No.
also don't stifle that with each other. Like we jump in
Hmm.
together and say, how do we do this? And that's our purpose. Our we both believe in a higher being,
I
and
believe in divine intervention, most definitely.
yes, so like that we're put here for a reason. Even us creating this podcast. At the end of the day, this is helping us, but it also is a part of
We
it helping others.
we want to help others. That's our goal. If we can help at least just one person
Hmm.
with our podcast, I think we've accomplished a lot to help many more. That's like phenomenal. But to just get through to one individual
Yeah,
and they come back and say, yo, this has helped me with some questions I need to get answered, with some issues I need to, and us putting ourselves out there vulnerably like this,
yeah,
I would really believe that if God didn't want me to do this or want us to do this, then we wouldn't be sitting here.
I
We wouldn't
agree.
have been like, okay, we're back. He knew we needed to work on ourselves so that we can deliver this platform to you
That's
guys.
the truth. So I mean, that's that. And that is our form of intimacy. There, that spiritual intimacy is understanding your purpose.
Mhm.
God has a purpose for us, and we are living it. And we're accepting it. Not just living in the moment. We're living our purpose, and this is part of it. And we are excited when we do it. We are happy. It puts you in a different place. I feel good. Walking away after we record these sessions, I feel great. It's there's a level of like, like we just did our 2 sessions of yoga, kind of feeling afterwards.
Now I'm gonna say in the beginning it was a took a bit of a toll for me because now I done put like, oh my God, am I putting all our business out there? Oh my God, are people gonna judge me? But then you know what I realized? Like I don't care because God said, give them your all.
Mm-hmm.
Bring them into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know who you could potentially be helping.
Yeah.
You don't know your one little topic could touch someone. So I was like, you know what? Whatever.
And
Because we're still here. We're doing this. We're 10 years married, 13 years in the game. And like I said in one of our podcasts, we're still a work in progress. We're going to always be a work in progress. We're not
mhm,
the end all to be all, but we do know that God said, do this. Show them your life, not give you every detail of our life, but show your life of what marriage is like and how it's supposed to be and how it could be. And there are problems and issues that could come up. And I'm open to that. I think I said, okay, God, you said it. Jay said it. We said it. Let's do it.
I agree. I think it's just who we are, what we do, and listening to what our purpose and accepting it,
Mm-hmm.
is that key, and it brings us together. It does. I mean, there is an intimacy to us being vulnerable,
Mm.
and being vulnerable not just to each other, but then to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, when we do these podcasts, like, we are doing them free.
Yep, we're
So
not
this is
planning
not
them
a
out.
yeah, this is not a pre-scripted
Nope, not at
thing. So
all.
we are there are times where we are finding out things. We're being vulnerable to each other because we're opening up about how we feel and what that emotion truly brings, which is not easy. As you're going through it. So it's definitely not an easy thing, for sure. And it's and for you all, you're listening, and we just hope that what we're sharing you're accepting and taking in. And again, not that we're experts in
Not
this,
at all.
not that we're perfect, not that we have the best marriage. We're not saying any of those things. We're saying this is our life, this is our world, this is our journey,
And we're sharing it
and we're
with
sharing
you.
with you, which is a part of our purpose. We feel this is what one of the things we've been asked to do while we're living this life, while we're allowed to live this life.
Yes.
So we are doing it, and yeah, we hope that more people listen, because then that'll make it bigger, and then it'll give us even more purpose to be purposeful. But while we're doing it, we still, regardless of that, hey, if we got 5 listeners, those 5 people, you're gonna get it.
That's right. And
It'll be
we
like 55, 100.
or maybe 200. Yeah. I think we didn't know what fruit was going to come of this.
No,
We said we're going to do it. We're going to put it out there. Like hopefully somebody will get it. Somebody will
and it
think
took us
it'll help us,
it
help
took
them.
us time to understand the purpose, because
Oh,
if you look back, I
definitely.
mean, our first 4 episodes were over a 2 or 3 year period. Um, and that's the piece. So it took us some time
Mhm.
to get to understanding why we're doing this,
Mhm.
how we need to do this, and why we need to do this. That's the key. Like, it took us some time, and when we came together and realized it, and I believe we were spoken to at the same time. We said we're going to do this, and we've been committed
We
ever
sure
since.
have.
We're going. This is episode 14,
I know we're
and
moving and
we came
shaking.
back at 5.
Oh
So
man, right?
this is and we've been consistent every week, and we're going to keep that for you, because we have accepted living in this purpose.
Yes. And if you have a topic you want us to discuss, go to our Instagram page, which is
Her rock, her piece. Her rock, his piece. Did I say that right? Yes. Her rock, his piece.
and
I
just
got to make
leave,
sure of
drop
that.
us a topic in there. We'll discuss it. But again, like you said, this is our purpose. We're sharing this with you because we were asked by God to say, do this.
Exactly.
And we're going to do it for as long as we can.
There we
And
go.
if you listen, you listen. If you don't, you don't.
We're
But
gonna
we
keep doing it.
appreciate, we're going to keep doing it.
That's right.
Hopefully, you'll listen and tell your friends, family, and those who are going through these trials and tribulations to listen.
Yep.
That's important.
There you go.
So that's our piece on the intellectual.
Last one is self.
Ooh.
Becoming aware of your own feelings, loving yourself first.
I'm going to say this
Learning to love yourself first.
in the beginning, before Jason and I, it was a lot for me to love myself.
Yeah, BJ
BJ?
before Jason.
Before Jason. I don't like BJ. Jesus. Okay, anywho, I came in, it just took a lot to love who I was, what I became. And it took for me to just, stop caring about what people thought of me. From ABC News. And I'm like, why? I just kept thinking, like, who cares what other people think? I don't care. I don't care what they think. It doesn't matter to me. I need to love myself, who I am. And, once I did that, oh, everything else fell into place. I'm confident. I know what I'm capable of doing. I know what my purpose is. I know who I am. And because I know this and I feel this, and Nobody could tell me my poop don't stink or my shit don't stink. I walk in myself. And once I got better with myself, I knew that I was going to be the right person for the right man that came along. And then
And I was
BJ,
that right
before
man.
Jason came,
I must have been that right man.
he
I came
was.
along.
listen to listen to him.
I know. I get that because you know what I think about when I was younger. I didn't have the confidence that I have now. I didn't have the high self esteem. At first, it took me a while to roll into that. Now this was much younger,
Mm,
and then I started to feel it. I started to feel myself. I started to accept who I was. And it was hard because I wasn't the same as everybody. I didn't have the nice clothes. I didn't have all the money that I thought people had. Uh,
yeah.
and I realized at some point I used my intelligence and my humor to get me through. And
Mm,
that's how I got into the in crowd because I'm gonna tell a joke. I may tell a joke about me, myself, on myself, just to turn the conversation away from me in a way. And then I was on a high, and then I hit another low for a while. Moving into that adulthood where I just wasn't sure of who I was. And I was still trying to find who I was. I was trying to find my purpose, even.
mm,
So I wasn't 100% there. And then at some point it clicked, and that confidence came in. And from that point on, I was there because then I realized what I was brought here to do. And I think about it like it's all connected to my purpose. When my confidence kicked in was when I found what I wanted to do in life, which was help people
mm.
and love and be connected, and all that was a part of it. And then it just got there, which then eventually brought me to you. I don't think previous Jason would have connected with Monica. I don't think Monica would have looked at Jason and said, "Nah." But this is now the new and improved. Well, not now, but then. At some point, by the time I got to you, I'm well into who I am.
Mm.
This is who I am. The confident, intelligent black man that you met. That's I'm years into it by that point. But yeah, before that, I remember it wasn't always there. And I think about it, I wasn't in my purpose. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I wasn't where I was supposed to be.
And I think that what it was for me was in my previous marriage, I had lost all of who I was.
Mm,
I became his wife. This is
mm.
my wife. I had no name. This is my
I
mother.
remember you saying that. Like that's
I
why I always
had
say
no
Monica.
name. I'm like, hello, I'm Monica, And so when I lost myself, I lost my self-esteem, all of that was gone.
Mm,
And I had to find it. It wasn't really there, but it just sunk even further down once I got married. And I became a mother and a wife.
mm.
And that was it. That was my purpose. That was my job. If you would have said to me, "Oh my God, you look so sexy," and I'm like, "Oh God, no, please, I don't. I look atrocious," because I wasn't secure in who I was and who's what was myself about.
And what did you want? Like
I
it's loving yourself and then knowing what you love and what you want, like how you want to feel
right
and how you want to be made
to feel,
to feel.
and
I think that's important. And that does take a lot. Like I remember being asked, "What do you want?" And I was like, I felt like coming to America, whatever you like. And it was like, no, no, what do you want? And I'm like, whatever you like, and I'm like, no, 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 what do you want? And it's like, that's the big thing. Like, what do you want? What do you need?
and that's what I found out. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I needed. And from that point forward, I was now Monica. That's when
Mm-hmm.
that D came in. Monica D Green. I'll tell you about that later on and as we go through our podcast. But that
Oh,
D
I want to hear that too.
signify a new me.
Yeah.
I'm confident. Like I know what my purpose is. I know what I'm capable of doing, and with that, help with the intimacy part because now I know what I want. Jay, this is what I expect. This is what I want. This is what makes me feel this kind of way.
Hmm.
I don't think I could have ever said that before. It's just like I need to make sure he's okay. Not about not if we are okay.
No, that's that. You know what? That is so poignant. Like you think about knowing yourself, having that level of confidence. If you don't know yourself and have that level of confidence, you can't speak to what you need and what you want. You can't tell your partner, "I need you to do this."
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what that is. So how can you truly be intimate? How can you truly connect on an intimate level when you haven't connected with yourself on an intimate level? You don't know yourself,
Mm-hmm.
intimately. So how do you not? How can you be in an intimate relationship?
And I think you hit it up. You hit on it before. Like I have to say, no, I don't want you sucking my toes. That doesn't turn me on. Like that's not what gets me going.
I'm not sucking her toes. I'm just letting you
Please don't. I think that's disgusting. But anyway, that's to each his own. But I'm just saying, I had to be
know. I
able.
think there's anything wrong with sucking toes. If
I
that's
said
what you
that,
do,
but what I had to be comfortable and say, no, this is what I like,
yeah.
and be self assured that it won't make him feel any different. But
Mm-hmm.
I know that this is what I want, and same for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is what I like. This is what can you do this for me? And I should be like, oh, let me try it and see. And then we're like, no, I didn't like that. But I'll try it just to make sure that you're happy. Do you think that's good?
That's true. Yeah. So we stopped the chicken soup thing. We just stopped that because she didn't like. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God.
But
Oh my gosh. So I think that to know yourself, to be secure in what you of self, plays a big role in intimacy because if you don't know what you want, how can you let your partner know what you want?
that's true.
If you're not happy with yourself,
Hmm.
how can you expect your partner to be happy with you?
Yeah,
You know,
that's very true.
I walk in my look. I know my strut.
Hmm.
Like I said, I know my poop don't stink. I'm in May. I don't know.
Smells like roses, baby.
Even though I don't like him coming in the
Because that's the
bathroom when
spray
I'm
that we
using the
got in the
bathroom.
bathroom.
Anyway,
Thinking about we've gone over the 6 types of intimacy:
yes,
physical, emotional,
emotional
experiential, intellectual, spiritual, and now self.
and also
So those are the 6 types of intimacy. And as you are discussing with your partner, with your husband or wife, talk about those different forms of intimacy, and what that means. The next topic that we're going to be going into, nope.
night. Yeah, we're gonna go into. But I want to touch back on something too. I want us to make sure that when you talk about these 6 different types of intimacy, know that there are many more out there.
Oh
These are
yeah,
just the ones that we kind of touched upon that meant something to us. But please explore more. Go ahead and check those out and know that there are other things, other forms of intimacy out there, not just these 6, right?
that's right.
Okay. And so we're going to leave you all with this. Our next topic is again, babe.
Ways to keep the spark alive.
Ooh, that's 13 ways, right?
13 ways. That's right. 13 ways
Uh-oh, get your pen
to
and your
keep the spark
pad.
alive. We're going to have a quiz. You do not pass if you got less than 9 correct.
Anywho.
So just letting you know. So make sure. So when we quiz you, you get it. We're also going to quiz you on the 6 types of intimacy.
No, we're
No,
not.
I'm just kidding.
So just get your pens and your pads ready for this one. This is going to be great. So we want to say thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Please subscribe, and if you like us, give us a like on Facebook and a shout out on Instagram. And again, join us next week for 13.
Ways to keep the spark alive.
And don't forget to tell your spouse, I love
I
you.
love you.
You're my rock.
You're my peace.
And we will see you guys next week.
Next week.
All right. Peace
Peace,
out.
people.
Bye.
Bye.